Good morning, cadets. Yesterday we have learned about electric flux and we have defined what is electric flux. The number of field lines linking with a surface perpendicular to the surface is called as electric flux. And electric flux is a scalar quantity. Electric flux is having SI unit, Newton per coulomb, meter square. So these are all the things that we have learnt. Now today we are learning very important law, that is Gauss law. We are going to find out what is the cause of this electric flux. Suppose there is an enclosed area, there is an enclosed surface in the electric field. Through that electric field, through that enclosed surface, definitely the electric field lines are going to penetrate. The electric field lines are going to pass through. Then, if we calculate the total flux linking with that enclosed surface, we are going to relate that total flux linking with that enclosed surface with the charge enclosed by that surface. Means the cause of electric flux is the charge. We have learnt in Coulomb's law. The cause of electric field is the charge. For example, if there is a point charge Q, then the electric field due to that point charge Q at a distance r is given by Coulomb's law. E vector is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q by r square, and it is radially outwards. So the cause of electric field is the electric charge. In the same way, we are learning the cause of electric flux is again the electric charge. That is given by the very important law that is called Gauss law. Let us consider a case of a point charge. Suppose this is a point charge Q, and we know the electric field due to this point charge Q is radially outwards. Suppose I draw a sphere. Suppose I draw a sphere of radius r. Then at every point on this spherical surface of radius r, the electric field value takes the same quantity, E equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q by r square. This is what we know. Now, if I calculate the total flux enclosed by this spherical surface, what I am going to get? We know how to calculate total flux. Yesterday we have learned this, how to calculate total flux linking with the surface. Now, if you look at this, the flux linking with this surface is due to the electric field lines which are radially outwards. The electric field lines which are radially outwards. Now, I want to calculate the total electric flux linking with this enclosed surface, and the source charge is Q, right? So for that, the procedure what we have followed earlier, we choose a small surface ds. We choose a small surface ds, right? And draw the normal. Even when you draw the normal drawn to this spherical surface definitely it is along the radius, radially outwards. Therefore, this becomes the ds vector. And you see the electric field vector at this surface and the area vector ds are pointing in the same direction radially outwards, because the electric field lines are radially outwards. So, the angle between E vector and ds vector is 0. So, I can calculate what is that small flux linking with this small area. So, small amount of flux, if I call it as d phi, linking with this small area, is given by E dot ds, E dot ds. And you know the angle between E vector and ds vector in this case is 0. So, it becomes E ds cos 0. So, cos 0 is 1. Therefore, the small flux linking with this small element of area d phi is equal to E ds. So, like that I can divide this entire spherical surface of such innumerable number of small areas ds, and then add all such small flux from one end to another end throughout the surface. We will get the surface integral of electric field, and thus we will be able to calculate the total electric flux. Therefore, total electric flux linking the spherical surface is denoted by phi, capital Phi is equal to integral of such d phi throughout the surface, throughout the enclosed surface. So, it is called as surface integral. That is how we calculate the total flux whenever the electric field is, you see, non-uniform. The electric field is radially outwards and it is non-uniform, and the electric field, as we have learnt, is depending inversely on the square of the distance. So, it is according to Coulomb's law. Coulomb's law states about the inverse square dependence of distance, inverse square dependence on distance of the electric field as well as force. So, that is what we are looking at it. So, now I can replace this d phi by EDS for entire surface area. It means integral of such small fluxes taken for the entire closed surface, it is called as surface integral. Surface integral taken over the closed surface. Surface integral taken over the closed surface of electric field for the entire surface. So, electric field at every point you can see is having the same value, because the every point is at a same distance r, that is radius. Therefore, we know electric field E is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square, and it is radially outwards. So, unit vector r. So, here we have seen the E vector dot ds vector, the angle between them is 0. So, E ds cos 0, E ds cos 0 is resulting into E into ds. So, in this equation we can take only the magnitude of electric field. So, thus substituting this value, total flux now becomes equal to surface integral of 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square, only magnitude into ds. As I said, and you can see at every point on such small elementary areas, the electric field is constant, having the same value. Now we can calculate the total flux. Total flux can be calculated as electric field, that is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught into q by r square into surface integral of ds. Because electric field being common, I kept it outside. Now surface integral of ds, what does it mean? Addition of all such small elements of small areas ds from one end to another end, from this end to this end, coming back to the same point. So that gives you total surface area of the sphere. So that is nothing but summation of all small area elements. So instead of summation, the exact value is integral. So surface integral of small ds, ds plus ds plus ds plus ds. If you go on taking the complete summation, definitely we get the surface area of the sphere of radius r. So that gives us 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square into surface area of the sphere. It is nothing but 4 pi r square. It is of radius r. So r square cancels with r square, 4 pi cancels with 4 pi. So finally we get a very simple equation, q by epsilon naught. Therefore, we conclude without much of proof, by taking just an example of a charge enclosed by a spherical surface, we can calculate the total flux, and the total flux linking with that charge is equal to, total flux linking with that spherical surface is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times the charge enclosed by the surface. This is what is known as Gauss law. So the total flux linking a closed surface, total flux linking with the closed surface is equal to, of course I have taken the example of spherical surface. This can be generalized for any type of surface. It may be regular surface or it may be any irregular surface. Without proof, we are taking the statement directly. So total flux linking a closed surface is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times 1 by epsilon naught times the charge enclosed by it, the charge enclosed by the surface. This is the equation for Gauss law. Phi is equal to q upon 4 pi epsilon naught. In more better way, we can write the same thing as, left hand side can be written as surface integral of E dot ds. Surface integral of E dot ds gives us the total flux. The total flux linking with the closed surface is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times the charge enclosed by it. So that is the meaning of Gauss law. So Gauss law relates the cause of the electric flux. The cause of electric flux linking with a closed surface is definitely the charge. Right? In the same way, we have learned from the Coulomb's law, the cause of electric force, the cause of electric field is the charge. So Gauss law can be obtained from Coulomb's law. Coulomb's law can also be obtained from Gauss law. Coulomb's law states about the electric field and electric force, the cause of electric field and cause of electric force, whereas Gauss law states about electric flux, which is a scalar quantity, right? So, in general, the quantity of electric field linking with the surface is called as electric flux. So, the cause of this electric flux linking with a closed surface in any electric field is the charge enclosed by it. Suppose the closed surface does not include any charge. If there is no charge inside the surface, then charge becomes 0, then total flux linking with the surface becomes 0. That is the meaning of the Gauss law. The flux may be penetrating through the surface, but if the surface does not include any charge, then the total flux linking with that surface is 0. That is the application of Gauss law. Now, this Gauss law helps us to calculate the electric field due to linear distribution of charge along a straight conductor. If there is a linear charge density, we can calculate electric field due to linear charge density at any point in a space using Coulomb's law also, but it involves complex process of integration. If we use Gauss law, the calculation becomes very simple. That is the application of Gauss law, which we are going to see in the next videos. So, whenever there is a continuous distribution of charge, like linear distribution of charge, surface distribution of charge, surface charge density, or volume charge density, surface charge density on a sphere, surface charge density on a plane surface, then we can calculate electric field due to such continuous distribution of charge using Gauss law. That is the beauty of Gauss law, right? So, Gauss law helps us to calculate electric field in a very convenient and a very simple way due to continuous distribution of charge whenever there is a symmetry, So, that is how we obtain by taking an example of the source charge, point charge and a sphere enclosing that charge, one can obtain the equation for the total flux, and that becomes the statement of Gauss law. The total flux linking the closed surface is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times the charge enclosed by the surface. Now, if you want to calculate the charge, if you know, for example, if you know value of flux, if you just multiply epsilon naught times flux, you get the charge enclosed, right? We will see certain examples and certain conditions for applying Gauss law. The surface that we choose to apply the Gauss law is usually called as Gaussian surface. The Gaussian surface, usually we take a spherical surface, or usually we may take a cylindrical surface, any surface which is convenient and which is symmetrical. So, that will be surface enclosing that particular electric field, and that surface usually is called as Gaussian surface. By choosing a Gaussian surface, we will be able to apply Gauss law to calculate electric field. Let us quickly understand the meaning of Gauss law with the help of an example of uniform electric field. Suppose this is the direction of uniform electric field, and we know uniform electric field is represented by parallel electric field lines. Now, suppose there is a cylindrical surface which is enclosing this uniform electric field. cylindrical surface enclosing this uniform electric field. You see, electric field is entering from the left side of the cylinder and leaving out from the right side of the cylinder. I want to calculate the charge enclosed by this by calculating the total flux. Now, total flux enclosed by the surface according to Gauss law states that total flux enclosed by the surface is equal to Q by epsilon naught, where Q is the charge enclosed. When you look at this, there is no charge enclosed by the surface. So, when there is no charge enclosed by the surface, then total flux linking with the surface becomes 0. That is evident from the Gauss law. Let us prove it by actually calculating the total flux, because there is no charge here. Definitely we can say that total flux is 0. That is the meaning of Gauss law. Now, we will prove that there is no charge enclosed by actually calculating total flux. So, total flux can be calculated by taking 3 surfaces. One left side circular surface, second one the right side circular surface, the third one the enclosing cylindrical surface. This is the cylindrical surface. So, when you draw the normal drawn to the second surface is pointing vertically outwards, and the outward normal that is drawn here, the normal should be always, as I said, the normal should be always outward normal. If this is the surface, as I showed last period, if this is the surface, the outward normal represents the direction of area vector. So, this is the direction of let us say ds vector. If you take this one as ds area, this is the direction of ds dash. Both the areas are of same quantity, but the area vectors are exactly in the opposite direction. Now, the normal at any point on the cylindrical surface is definitely perpendicular to the surface outwards. At this surface it will be pointing outwards, and here it will be pointing downwards. So, everywhere it is perpendicular. So, if you look at this, this becomes the ds dash, double dash you can take. Now, total flux. Linking the surface area, cylindrical surface area, the total surface, the total flux linking with the cylindrical enclosing surface, or can just say cylindrical or cylinder, just let us write the cylinder. Total flux enclosed by the cylinder is equal to, I can write it as phi 1 linking with this one plus phi 2 linking with the second surface, phi 1 linking with the first surface, phi 2 linking with the second surface, and phi 3 linking with the third surface. So, if you look at it, total flux can be written as phi. So, phi 1 linking with the first surface. So, if you calculate this, if you take this electric field as E and you see ds dash dot ds dash, this is how we calculate phi 1. Then phi 2 can be calculated as in the same way E dot ds, which is pointing outwards, plus E dot ds dash, ds double dash. So, now if you look at it, E dot ds dash, E dot ds, E dot ds, if you take this surface area, total surface area as A, then it becomes EA with negative sign, because the angle between electric field and the area vector is 180 degree pi. So, cos 180 is minus 1, so it becomes minus EA, and here it becomes EA. Total area if we take here, as A, then it becomes EA. Because the angle between electric field and the area vector, that is the normal drawn to the area, the angle between them is 0, cos 0 is 1. So, similarly, this one, you look at this, the electric field and the area vector, cylindrical surface area vector, they are perpendicular to each other. So, the angle between them is 90 degree. So, cos pi by 2, cos 90 is 0, cos 90 is 0, therefore, it becomes 0. So, minus EA plus EA, thus it becomes 0. So, total flux linking with the cylindrical surface when the electric field is uniform electric field. When the field is uniform, we have proved that it is equal to 0. So, this implies by applying Gauss law, the charge enclosed, when phi is equal to 0, the charge enclosed is 0. Therefore, the charge enclosed here in this space is 0. We can see the number of field lines entering here is equal to number of field lines leaving out. That is why the number of field lines entering here gives you negative flux and number of field lines leaving out gives us positive flux. Whatever the negative flux is there, same amount of positive flux is there. So, the net flux becomes 0. When the net flux becomes 0, the total flux becomes 0, then the charge enclosed will be 0. So, here we have taken the example of the uniform electric field. Even if it is non-uniform electric field, suppose this is a non-uniform electric field. This is a non-uniform electric field, example of non-uniform electric field. Suppose there is any closed surface which is not having any regular shape, if it is an irregular surface, then the number of field lines entering here, look at this, is equal to the number of field lines leaving out. So, the flux that is entering here, if you take it as minus phi, the flux that is leaving here is plus phi. So, when same number of field lines enter and leave out, the total flux linking with such a closed surface is 0. So, when total flux is 0, net flux is 0, then the charge enclosed, therefore, charge enclosed Q is equal to 0. This is the one of the applications, important applications of the Gauss law. So, in the next video, we will see many important applications of Gauss law and what are the conditions for applications of Gauss law. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.